Hey everybody, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Welcome back to my channel. So here I am with my currently inked video, and I'm going to say this almost didn't happen on time. Normally I do my currently inked video and publish it the last day of the previous month, but this month has just been so crazy, and I don't know, I'll explain it more later, but in the meantime, enjoy this footage of me filling up my pens, which I did literally an hour before this video, and all of the ink that is currently on my fingers. Alright, so here are the pens that are currently inked for the month of July. There are 6 pens there, but only 4 ink tiles. Are these ink tiles, ink swatches? The reason being is that somebody asked me last month or the month before, what do you do with the pens that still have ink in them? And in previous months, I would always get to, close to the end of the ink in a pen, and there wasn't enough left in there for me to be too concerned about dumping it out, basically. But I do have a couple of pens this month where there's still enough left in the actual pen, and the ink came from a sample, so I don't want to waste any of it. So I will take you guys through what pens I currently have inked. Some of them are repeats from June, and then I will introduce 4 new pens that I have for this month. So let's get started. So first I want to take you through a bit of a progress report from last month. So these are my pens and inks that I used for the month of June. The first one being the Cross Botanica Green Daylily. Again, this was a fountain pen that my dad gave me a few years ago, and I love this. It's in a fine nib, but it's such a wet and smooth writer for a steel nib, and I have Herbon Poussière de Lune in there. This still has quite a bit of ink left in it, so this will still stay in my rotation until I write it dry. But I really do love the colors. I loved how smoothly the ink flowed out of the pen. I normally put Herbon inks in my Cross Botanica because it is such a wet writer, and I find some Herbon inks very dry. So the only way to get it to work for me is to put it in a very, very wet pen. The next pen is the TWSBI Diamond 580 in Smoke Rose Gold with a fine nib, and this had Robert Oster Rose Gold Antica, and it had that really beautiful copper shimmer, and I really loved the way that this wrote. I think it was a great combination, and I'm still getting used to my TWSBI. It's not as smooth as I'd like it to be, but it is getting there, and I wrote in it quite a bit in my journal, and towards the end there wasn't as much shimmer, probably because I wasn't picking it up as much in the ink chamber, but I think this is how much is left of that ink that I filled up on, is it the 28th of May or something? There's a tiny bit left in there, and I can finish that up basically with my journal entry for today. So this will probably get cleaned out as of, let's say, July 1st. I'm filming this on June 30th, so this will get cleaned out tomorrow. But I really did like that combination. I love seeing that ink swirling around in the ink chamber. I don't have a full bottle of this. I am tempted to get one though. We'll see. The next one is the Pelikan M400 in the white tortoise, and I inked that up with Robert Oster Gold Antica, and there's still quite a bit left in this, so I will still continue to use it as one of my currently inked in July. I really loved the color of the Gold Antica, and in this particular pen, it wrote very nice and wet. It was very smooth. Really loved matching the pen to the ink. I really liked this golden brown color, hence the name Gold Antica. Then the Pelikan 140, where is that? The Pelikan 140 was what I used in my 5-year journal, and I actually really liked the way that it turned out. I'm just bringing this over here, and I actually was pretty much running out of ink as of today. So for the last entry of my journal, I'm basically dipping it into the ink. But what I always did was I wrote Grateful using the Flex nib, and I just had so much fun with that nib and with that ink. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous combination. Love that pen. And then I had my Sailor Pro Gear, the white rose gold with a medium fine nib that had Sailor Yurameku Itezora. I find Sailor inks can be a little on the drier side, but my Sailor Pro Gear with the medium fine is slightly wetter than my Sailor Pro Gear Slim, which is why I wanted to put that ink in that pen. I still have lots of that left, so I will still continue to use it in July. But I love the shading of it, and with that particular pen, if I am writing it at a particular angle, then it does come out a little bit wetter, and then you get all of that beautiful shading. And then lastly, in my Pilot Vanishing Point with a fine nib, I had Pilot Iroshizuku Fuyu Shogun. Really beautiful, like grayish purple. And this one I wrote dry. And because it's a Con 40, there's not a lot of ink capacity in there. But I do love Pilot Iroshizuku inks. They're probably one of my favorite brands. So out of all of those 6, it's hard to pick a favorite. It really is hard to pick a favorite. There isn't any one that I particularly disliked. I liked them all. I really liked them all. So let's move on to this month. So for the month of July, I had a bit of a dilemma. I had ordered a pen a few weeks ago, and I was hoping it would be here in time for me to add it to my currently inked of July. It was stuck in customs for like a good, let's say, week. So unfortunately it won't be arriving before I can film this, but once that order arrives I will be able to show you, and hopefully I can add it to this currently inked. If not, then it'll be in August. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to list the pens that are still currently inked from last month. So the first one being my Cross Botanica Green Daylily. There's still so much ink left in here, and it's such a good purple, and I think it would match really well with some of the spreads that I have coming up. And this is inked up with J. Herbin Poussière de Lune, or Herbin Poussière de Lune. And I actually really like the way that it writes on this particular paper. So do a few teardrops. And some figure eights. Now I know you guys saw this last month, so it's not too different from last month, but I did want to add it in here just so that I could keep track of what I guess is a repeat or a carryover from the previous month. So then I will be doing this in my Hobonichi notebook. I like to do the swatches in both because the Tomoe River paper and the Hobonichi notebook, the Tomoe River paper is one that I use on a day-to-day basis. So this one would be more, I guess, realistic of what the color will look like in my journaling pages and my planner pages. But I do like to compare both so that you can see the different properties of the ink and how it reacts to different papers. So Herbin Poussière de Lune. I've seen so many different people's ink journals and the way that they do them, and I always get a little bit of FOMO, thinking, oh, my ink journal could look like that, could look like that. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's my ink journal. I'll get used to it. So that is the Cross Botanica Green Daylily. The next one that is still inked from last month is my Sailor Pro Gear in White Rose Gold. This has a medium fine 21 karat nib in here, and it is inked up with Sailor Yurameku Itazora. I find that my inks seem to write really dry on the Midori paper. It feels scratchy, and it shouldn't. I primed the feet a little bit. Hopefully that helps. So Sailor Yurameku. Itazora. It's got such gorgeous shading, but it turns out a bit more on the Tomoe River paper, which I will do here shortly. The Midori paper I use just for ink journaling or swatching, but the Tomoe River paper is the one that I use on a day-to-day basis, and already I can tell that it writes wetter on this paper. I love my Sailor Pro Gear. It fits in my hand perfectly. It's got a good weight to it. And I love the color of the pen. White rose gold, and then got it the rose gold trim and the nib. So beautiful. Yeah, I definitely prefer this pen paper ink combination on the Tomoe River paper. Perfect, so that is the Sailor Pro Gear in the white rose gold. The third pen that is still a repeat from last month is my Pelikan M400. There's still a ton of ink in there, even though I didn't fill it up to its fullest capacity, so I will definitely write this one dry. Some people would be like, well, why are you writing it in again? For me, it's a way of keeping track. And I'm gonna look back on this and see that, oh, I was able to write with this particular pen for almost 2 months. Mind you, I didn't write as much with it as I could have. No, that's not it. It is, oh gosh, Gold Antica. It's such a pretty gold brown. So yeah, like when I first write on the Midori paper, my pens feel scratchy. Then as soon as I write on the Tomoe River paper, lovely. This is my favorite paper, is the Tomoe River paper. And I know that people are talking about what is the replacement going to be for the Tomoe River paper. I am not the expert, unfortunately, so I don't know, but I think I'll be happy with anything that's similar to the Tomoe River paper. And I forgot to write the nib size. It's an extra fine. You notice with the extra fine on the Pelikan, it's about the size of the fine on the Cross Botanica Green Daylily. So do some figure eights. And yes, definitely love the wetness that I see on the Midori, the Tomoe River paper. Okay, so now on to the actual pens that I inked for this month, and I'm gonna run out of room here. That's never happened. All right, let's try and inch this up then. Okay, so which one do I want to do first? First one is going to be my Pilot Kakuno in with the white body and the yellow cap. I apologize for the ink in my hands. This particular Kakuno has a medium nib, and it currently is inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Chiku Rin. Oh, such a pretty green. And this will actually be my journaling pen in my 5-year journal. I really like the Pilot medium nib. I think this, along with the Pelikan, oh, so many mistakes. I shouldn't talk and do this at the same time. But yeah, I love the Pilot medium nib, and it's such a smooth writer considering it's a steel nib. Beautiful. Now on the Tomoe River paper, oh yeah, there's plenty of room on this one. So this will be the most pens I have inked at any one time, and I know 3 of them are repeats, but I think those 3 I'll be done writing with within a week or so. So medium. Making sure I write the correct ink this time. I've heard from other people that Chikurin could be a little bit drier compared to other Pilot Iroshizuku inks, and I can kind of see that, which is why I put it with a medium nib with the Pilot, because the medium nib could help this ink flow a little better. Oh, I've got ink in there already. Gotta clean that up. Okay, so then the next one is, let's line that up. Okay, I should have enough room. The next one, oh, so many mistakes, is, let's do the blue, is my Esterbrook JR in the, this is Fantasia. And this is a pen that I won from PenChalet. Ooh, look at that blue. Esterbrook. I think this is the only pocket pen that I have, if you don't count the Sailor Pro Gear Slim as a pocket pen. And this has an extra fine nib. And this particular pen works really well with wetter inks. This has Diamine Blue Velvet. And this is from a sample that I got from the random sample pack from Goulet Pens a couple months ago. So yeah, it feels a little bit toothy on the Midori paper, but then as soon as I get it on the Tomoe River paper, it almost feels like a different nib. So much smoother. Look at that blue. Yeah, absolutely. Much better with the Tomoe River paper. So once again, this is Diamine Blue Velvet. Oh, lovely. Doesn't look like there's a ton of shading in that particular ink, but it is definitely a lovely, vibrant blue. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's got a ton of shading. That's okay, but they already look different. Like this looks like it's got a darker tone blue to it, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to see, there's like just a hint, a very, very tiny hint of a red sheen. Okay, so the last 2 that I have are the Lamy Al-Star, and this has the extra fine nib in it, and it currently has, ooh, Pilot Iroshizuku Kosumosu. And then look at how wet that is. And I was gonna put the fine nib on this, but then I realized how wet this ink already is, so I stayed with the extra fine. I did just recently purchase a stub nib to go on this Lamy Al-Star, so I am really excited to try it. Kosumosu. Doesn't write too badly on this Midori paper. So then now on to the Tomoe River paper. Oh, so smooth. So smooth. Look at that. Such a pretty pink. And look, it looks redder on the Midori paper, and the pink, it feels like it looks like the pink that it should be on the Tomoe River paper. Am I off screen? Oh my goodness. All right. So the last pen that I have inked for July is, I say my newest acquisition because my actual newest acquisition isn't here yet, but my Pelikan M605 in the black tortoise. Oh, so pretty. And I have it inked currently with Sailor Urameku Yoi. This is on Rhodia paper. Rhodia? Is that right? Rhodia paper. So it's gonna look a little bit different on these two. So let's line that up here, making sure I have enough room. I'm so excited to use this pen. Oh, smooth. Even on the Midori. So this is the Pelikan M605 Black Tortoise. Oh. And it has an EF nib. It feels like this nib is actually a bit narrower than the EF nib in the M400. Maybe it's just this particular nib. Yeah, it looks like it's even finer than the Lamy Al-Star, but it could also be the ink as well. And the paper. All three work together to give you that experience. So then the Tomoe River paper. Part of me is nervous having this many pens inked up, but technically it really is only 4 new pens being inked up. Look at the shading on that. So the M605. See, now on this paper it feels like it's writing a lot more like the M400. Yep, such a nice wet writer. Sailor Urameku Yoi. And this one I only have a sample of as well, so. Oh, love that. And I love how complex that gray is. It looks different here. It looks more green tone. This one looks like more purple tone, and there's bits of purple and blue in that swatch there. So excited. So there's all my currently inked for the month of July. I'm looking at it now and it looks like a hodgepodge of different colors, but I'm really excited to continue using these because to me, if I didn't finish writing with them in the month of June, then I need to give it more of a chance to finish writing out in July. And then I'm just, this month was such a weird one for me in terms of picking colors and picking pens. I'm in a weird place right now with my pen collection, my ink collection. I think I need to, do some ink exploration and look at different color groups and see how I feel about that. If you guys are interested in that type of video where I swatch all of my greens, all of my grays, all of the reds or different blues, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. But that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are inking up with this month, or if you've made any new pen acquisitions. I'm trying really hard not to anymore, but we'll see. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and have yourselves a great day.